Hey guys, what's up? Andrew Gard here, Grace City Church in Lakeland, Florida. And Samuel had asked me to give you what I think would be one key thing when it comes to preaching. You know, I've really had the honor that many of us have, which is to preach the Bible. I've been doing it for 13 years now. And I think if there was one thing that I would want to encourage somebody with, and one thing that I've learned over the years, one key principle, for lack of a better term, it would be that authenticity is key when it comes to preaching. You know, I really believe that God created you and He created me very specifically, and He created us and anoints us and gives us a grace to do what He called us to do. And anytime when we're not being that person that He created us to be, man, it's very difficult to preach and communicate in a way that is authentic. You know, I think God anoints people. He doesn't anoint, you know, the second-rate version or the third-rate version of somebody's style. And so one of the things that really helped me early on, first of all, I always tell preachers that it took me about 4 or 5 years of preaching every single week before I felt like I found my voice, before I felt like I discovered this is who I am as a preacher, this is who I am as a communicator. And one of the things that was monumental for me is I kind of started out preaching in the days when podcasts started getting big and people started watching and listening to podcasts. And I found myself listening to podcasts or watching podcasts, and I would subconsciously start to sound like the preachers that I was listening to. And so one of the things that I personally had to do is I had to stop listening to podcasts. I had to stop watching other preachers. And so when I'm kind of helping train young preachers, I always try to encourage them to read more and listen less. So there might be some preachers that you love and preachers that you respect, and I don't think there's anything wrong with listening to other preachers and listening to other messages. In fact, every Monday I go to church after preaching all day on Sunday. I go to church on Monday where I listen to you know, a message, and I'm taking notes and doing all that kind of stuff. But early on, I think when you're discovering and trying to find your voice, I think read more, listen less. You know, there are a number of preachers that you probably love that have written books, because the difference when you listen and when you watch somebody, you naturally mimic that which you respect. And so all of us do it. And so if you're not careful, again, you can end up coming across as a second-rate so-and-so. And again, I don't think God wants to anoint that. He wants to anoint you and who He made you to be. But when you read, it's able to filter out through your own personality. And so that's why I always encourage young preachers to do that. And I think if you can do that, I think you'll begin over time to find your voice. And so I would encourage you early on in preaching, try different things, try different styles, figure out what fits for you. And over time, you'll discover your authentic voice. And it will be pretty powerful when you do.